guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to do the Do I Have That Book challenge. So parts of this are filmed back in my dorm room with the books that I had there that fit the prompts, but the rest of it is filmed back at my house because majority of my books are here, so I couldn't exactly complete the challenge with very small amount of my books at college. So if it's jumping back and forth between me here and me somewhere else, that's why. So let's get started. I decided to go ahead and take all the books out because if you saw my bookshelf tour, I'm kind of separated all around my room and it would have just been a pain to set up the camera, like keep moving it. So I decided to just go ahead and pull all the books off my shelf to make this A, go faster, and B, more efficient, and I don't have to like run around like you should have seen me trying to get all of these books in the first place. I'm not gonna time it. I'm just gonna do it based off of how many I don't have, which is 2 if I remember correctly. But yeah, let's get started. So for prompt number 1, it's a book with, do you have a book with deckled edges? And this one took me a while to find because I know I used to have a book with deckled edges, but I think I donated it, and then I found a book, and then while I was finding another book for later on down the list, I found it with another book with deckled edges that I thought I didn't have, but it fit a different prompt, and it's the only book I have for that prompt, so I'm gonna stick with that. But the book I chose for the deckled edges is Animal Farm. It's got the rough edges, which I'm not a big fan of, but you know, to each their own. So Animal Farm is book number 1. So for prompt number 2, do you have a book with 3 or more people on the cover? Took me a minute to access one because a lot of the books nowadays just have like pretty pictures on them and stuff. So I was like, okay. And I found one, and then I pulled out another book for another one, and I found that again, and so I was like, oh, I'll go with this one. So the book I chose is Seventh Son, and it's the movie cover. So it's got 4 people and 5 people and an entire terracotta army down there. Yeah, that's the one with 3 or more people on the cover. So for the book based off of another fictional story, I chose A Whole New World by Liz Braswell. It is based off of the Aladdin story, and the back just says, what if Aladdin had never found the lamp? Book number 4, which is the one that is exactly 10 letters long, the title is exactly 10 letters long, I chose Starflight by Melissa Landers. The book that starts and ends with the same letter, I chose Six of Crows because it both starts and ends with the letter S. So for prompt number 6, do you have a mass market paperback book? The one I chose was Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. As you can see, it is mass market. Very good book. Highly recommend it. Still haven't made my way to the second one, but I'm getting there. But this is the mass market paperback, Name of the Wind. So for prompt number 7, the book I chose was I Am Number 4. The prompt was, do you have a book written with the author's name as a pen name? And so I Am Number 4 is written by, I can't even pronounce this dude's first name, Pittacus Lore. But the reason I know it's a pen name is because he wrote himself into the book, but we also don't know I don't know what the author's real name is, and I just don't really care enough to look it up. But whatever works, man. But this is the one using a pen name. So prompt number 8 is, do you have a book with the character's name in the title? The main character's name in the title, and I do. I chose Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, but this one's both Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. Got it at a used bookstore. It was nice. I love this book. Yeah, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So for prompt number 9, which is, do you have a book with 2 or more maps in it? That took me a minute because surprisingly I don't have that many books with maps in it. And if I do, they only had 1 map, but it spanned 2 pages, so I didn't know if that counted. So it took me a while to find one that had 2 maps in it. So I chose this one and this one, which is The Hobbit. Actually haven't gotten around to reading this book yet, but I'll get there eventually. It's on my TBR. Prompt number 10 was, do you have a book that was turned into a TV show? And I've been watching a bunch of these challenges, and a lot of people have been doing like the Shadow Hunters and stuff like that, but I don't actually own a physical copy of those books. I have them on iBooks, so can't exactly show that. So I chose the Shannara Chronicles, which most people, I haven't seen anyone really choose, but this is by Terry Brooks. This cover is actually like the TV cover, or one of the TV covers, and TV show's amazing. But I've read maybe about a couple chapters of this, but I haven't exactly had time to finish. Prompt number 11 is, do you have a book that was written by someone who's famous for something completely different or something else? And so I thought for a while that I didn't have a book for this, and I was like, oh crap, this will be my first one that I don't have. But I remembered that I accidentally bought the 4th book and not the 1st book of the Land of Story series by Chris Colfer. And Chris Colfer, if anyone doesn't know, is the guy who plays Kurt in Glee. So he's previously an actor, and now he's an author. And the stories are good, but I read them at my school library and still only have book 4. So yeah, Land of Stories, Chris Colfer. Prompt number, 11? So I've come to my first book that I don't have, which is number 12, which was the book with a clock on the cover. Yeah, I looked through all of my books and just could not find one. So moving on to 13, the poetry book, I have Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. I actually got this in a book box a long time ago. Haven't had a chance to read it. Poetry's not really my thing. I guess technically you could have done like a Shakespeare book too, but I do have some of those from school, but I went with this one. This one's the one that also has Deckled Edges that I was talking about. It also has a bunch of award stamps on it, so it could go for the one with awards on it, but you know, it's 3 in 1. But no, I'm just gonna count this for the poetry book. So speaking of books with award stamps on it, that was the next prompt, which was 14, and the one I chose for that is Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda. It has the National Book Award on it, so that's fun. Yeah, Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda. Good book. So I actually don't have a book written with the same initials as me, like with an author with the same initials as me. I thought I did, but apparently I don't, which is sad. I like scoured my whole house for one. My dad's book stuff, my brother's book stuff. I looked into all of mine, did not have one. Tragic. So moving on to number 16, I want to say. Yeah, 16. For number 16, the book I chose was Slasher Girls and Monster Boys, because it is a book of short stories by a bunch of different authors. They're all kind of like Halloweenish horror stories, so it's actually a pretty cool book. So for prompt number 17, which is, do you have a book between 500 and 510 pages? For a hot minute, I thought I did not have it. So I was like going through all of the books that I thought were at least 500, and they ended up being more than 500. And then I was like, oh, Beautiful Creatures series, and I figured out that Beautiful Darkness is exactly 500 pages. Yeah, glad I found that. I thought I was freaking out that I wasn't gonna have it. I was gonna end up with 3 with known that I didn't have. So yeah, Beautiful Darkness. Okay, so for 18, almost there, y'all, which is the prompt, do you have a book that was turned into a movie? The book I chose was Ender's Game. It was turned into a movie. A lot of people can argue that the book was better than the movie. I can't argue that yet because I've only seen the movie. I haven't gotten around to reading this. My friend is basically like, he recommended this book to me a long time ago because his family owns everything Orson Scott Card, and he was like, you should read it, you'd enjoy it. And I'm like, seen the movie? And he's like, oh, that's trash, you gotta read the book. And I was like, okay, I'll get around to it eventually. So yeah, 18 is Ender's Game. So for prompt 19, I chose, which is the do you have a graphic novel? I really only have one, and then mangas, but I guess mangas count as a graphic novel. I don't know, but I have Nimona. Got it in a book box. It's hilarious. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it. It's pretty much the only graphic novel I've ever read, but so I can't really base it off of anything or any other ones, but I think it's hilarious. So yeah, number 19, graphic novel, Nimona. And finally, for book number 20, the book I chose that was written by two authors was Unearthed. It's written by both Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I'm currently reading it. It's pretty good so far. Can't wait to finish it. Okay, so that was my Do I Have That Book challenge. It was a lot of fun to film, a lot of fun to do. It kind of just gives you a chance to go through your bookshelf again and make you think. And it's a little stressful trying to find a book that was exactly between 500 and 510 pages. It's such a specific number. And I'm pretty sure there's not really that many books that have that specific page count. So glad I found one. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a blast. Check out my bookshelf tour if you want to see all of my books. Well, majority of my books. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will leave the link to the original YouTube video that started this challenge in the description, so if y'all want to go check that out and do the challenge for yourself. She has the questions and the prompts in her bio. So yeah, see ya.